Welcome to Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast, your weekly dose of many discussions and opinions, a show where we get comfortable being uncomfortable. And remember, no topic is off limits. Now let's talk about it.
Just keep it going. But you're right. You're right. No, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not hitting record here. Go ahead.
No, but it's like so we it was easy for me to do that with my kids now because for so long we have this stigma that as a man you're supposed to be strong and not weak, and you can't cry and you can't show emotions and all that other jazz that Latinos tell their kids. You know what I'm saying? But for me, the reason I feel like it was easy for me to adjust to this is because I was raised by my mom. So like I didn't have a male figure. You get what I'm saying? So feelings and emotions that was around me. I mean, I was around girls. I had my mother and my sister, and that was it. And that's who I was around. And then my aunts and my cousins and stuff like that. And
Right.
then so it was like normal. It was normal to do that. And then the world was not normal. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be a man, and a man doesn't cry, and a man doesn't feel things, and he's not supposed to hurt or anything like that. And I believed it, and I was hard. That's why, for me personally, me knowing that one part of my life was all lovey dovey and all that other stuff, and then the world made me tough, right? Let's say like pretending to be tough, right? The world made me pretend that I was tough, and pretending that I was tough almost killed me. So so let's go there. You know what I'm saying? Like pretending to do all that stuff and
We're
trying
going to
to
go
like
there. We're going to
so
go
like
there.
yeah, so trying to hold all that stuff in and be exteriorly tough, you know what I'm saying, was literally killing me. Like killing me internally, mentally, all that stuff. And when I learned that all my weaknesses can be used as power, I took control. Because everything that makes me bad, right? Everything that makes me a bad person, everything that makes me selfish, everything that makes me um, self-aware or very independent, everything that makes me that, where some people might consider it bad, that's my superpower. That's what makes me so great. And I say that because I'm nice and kind to everybody because I'm broken inside. So why would I want to break someone else?
Mm, mm.
You get what I'm saying? It's like I deal with depression daily, like daily. I mean, I'm fucking living the greatest life you can think of, and I still wake up like that. So why would I cause that for someone else? So for me, every hey, I love you. How's it going? Da-da-da. Like everything is jolly, jolly, jolly happy because I know what it is to be miserable and dead inside, and I know what that feels like. So when I see that someone's going through that, I can't do anything but love them because it's easy.
That's I never begin a podcast episode like this, but because of how this already started, I just hit record and it makes perfect sense to everything that we're going to talk about today. So you remember I sent you like an agenda, which is like an overview of shit, right? But
I just pre-read it. I was
I
like,
love it. I
okay,
love it. I love it when people just like I skim through it. I'm like perfect because this is gonna flow naturally.
yeah,
But you made it make sense. You made it made perfect sense. And I don't know if it's one thing when people claim that they can have that type of a conversation. It's another when they can really stand 10 toes down on what they're claiming. You get what I'm saying? And for me, I think that's one of the things I've struggled with the most recently, where I'm not expecting anybody who I meet either face to face, either virtual, anybody who I knew 10 years ago that I'm maybe none of that. I don't expect for there to be a sense of loyalty. But I do sometimes have an expectation that who they're going to serve is going to be their true self, who they really, really are, because that's what I do. You know, I said this from the very beginning on this platform. I have a little bit of a mystery, and it's a mystery that is left to be discovered, because I'm the type that I will open up with time. You've earned that from me. I will open up to you. I will build that trust and that bond and that comfortableness with you. I will do that just as genuine people, right? Um, call it because there might be a sense of protectiveness from me because of previous experiences, right? And that could be whether with a lover, a friend, family, whoever. But I just don't believe that everyone knows how to stand their ground on who they claim to be. And I think it's because they don't know either A or both. A, how to face their experiences, right? The truth of it and who it's really impacted them to become. And or B, how to face who they have become. That's what I think it is. Because it's not always, a straight line. It
No, there is no
it's
such thing. It doesn't
right,
exist.
right.
But
And
it's also people in my opinion, I believe that a lot of people are ashamed.
mm,
They're ashamed or embarrassed. Maybe not ashamed, maybe
right,
embarrassed.
right,
Maybe they're embarrassed of stuff. But they can't live their true selves, right? They have to
right,
put up this facade that they've built up, and it's what makes them comfortable. It's what
right,
makes them feel safe.
right.
See, for me, we were talking earlier, and they asked like, what is one fear you want to get rid of in 2023? Like my answer was I want to get rid of saying yes so frequently. I want to be able to say no more often. I want to be able to say no more often. But that's not a fear. That's just something that I would like to conquer this year, that I can say no more often. But a fear for me is nothing. I'm literally not afraid of anything because I mean, I live by this. I genuinely live by this. I could wake up tomorrow morning and everything that I have could be gone
Right,
and I'd be okay
right,
because I know how to get it back.
right. I get it. I
So
get it.
I'm not afraid of losing it
Right.
because you can't lose. Listen, I can lose a business easily. My building, God forbid, could burn down. I
God
lose a
forbid.
business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow I'll be perfectly fine because I know how to build it.
Right,
You
right,
can't take away everything that I have in
right,
here and in here. You can take possessions. Yeah, take them all. It won't make a difference. It literally wouldn't make a difference to me. I'll be sad for maybe about 8 to 10 hours. I think
okay.
that's how long it'll take me to book a vacation.
Oh wow. Okay. And it's that one. What is it? And it's that one coming. But
Because pretty much that's what's going to happen. I'm going to be sad, and then I'm like, all right, cool. I need some time away so I could focus
mm-hmm.
and reevaluate stuff, and then come back with a plan.
Right,
So,
right.
so fear is what keeps people um, from reaching their greatness, from
Mm.
reaching their 10 toes down. This is who I am. Take it or leave it.
Right,
You
right.
get what I'm saying? Because that's
Exactly.
another thing. Not everyone's going to accept your true self.
Mm.
So what do you like? We were talking about this, and I say it. What are you willing to risk? Right? Everybody goes, "Yo, are you willing to risk this to gain this?" Right? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's like the thing, especially for people like me, entrepreneurs like yourself, myself. You have a regular job as well,
Yeah.
so you know what I'm saying. Like, what are you willing to risk? Is the word, right? What are you willing to risk? And I never say that. I'm not willing to risk anything because I don't risk shit. Like I don't play those games. I am 100% willing to lose everything to get what I want.
Okay.
To reach
Fair
my
enough.
goal, to reach my goals in business, I'm willing to give up anything because I've lost everything. I've lost everything before. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so for me, coming from wanting to be an entrepreneur at a very earlier stage of my life, before I became a chef, before I became cooking, I was a graphic designer, right? So I would do flyers, business cards, websites, all this shit for people. And I was married at the time, and my ex-wife was like, "Yo, you're not doing like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this ain't working. Like,
This ain't
I wasn't.
it.
Yeah, this ain't it. This entrepreneur life, this shit ain't it for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was making no money. Like, honest to God, like I'm keeping it a
Right.
hundred. Like
Right.
I was broke. Like she held it down, bro. Like she paid the mortgage, she did everything. Like she held it down, and but that opened my eyes because she literally was like, "Yo, you need to work for somebody if you're ever gonna make it, right?" And I was like, that shit didn't sit right with me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it didn't sit right with me. But I was married at the time. We had kids. Bills gotta get paid. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta do what you gotta do. So I went and I got a corporate job, and I got a job in sales and doing that stuff. And I was good at it because you're good at anything you can put your mind to it. So I was really good at it, but I was miserable. You know what I'm saying? I was miserable there, and then it was causing misery at home.
Right.
So that shit was just like, not, it wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of shit going on. Shit wasn't working. And then, you start to grow apart. You know what I'm saying? So we grew apart and we got a divorce and all this other stuff. And then I got in trouble, right? Like I got in trouble with the law. I did some fucked up shit. Your boy got caught. Actually, no. You know what? Fuck this. What year is this? We good. So your boy.
Y'all, this we're just jumping right into the segment. This is as raw as it gets. That segment. Continue. Welcome back, guys, to another week and another
Yeah.
episode of the Dose of Raw Talk podcast. There you go. That's a wrap.
That's
Continue.
it. So allegedly, right? I did some fucked up shit, right? So what I did, because listen, my name is Louis Barrios, better known as Chef Luckie. I am a restaurant owner. I am an entrepreneur. I am a coach. I am I'm actually starting a coaching program. I am a published author. I will be a published author by the end of this year. I come from in the introduction in my website. It says I'm just a kid from Union and Redwood Ave on the west side of Paterson. That's who I am, and I say it even in books, websites. There is nothing special about the food that I cook. There is nothing special about the type of food that I cook. The only thing special is that I'm cooking the food.
Talk about it.
I use simple ingredients because for me, simple is best. If you do it right, you can't fuck it up. So that's what I do.
Let that apply to every aspect of your life. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
All right.
It's true.
All right.
So I grew up in the hood. I come from the hood. I come from the gutter. So I'll go back to that after this story. But so I just wanted to say that before I say this. So I got in trouble. I got arrested. And I stood 10 toes down. I didn't say a word. Nothing. As I was being interrogated, interviewed, everything. And they're like, yo, we know this. We know. I don't know what you're talking about, big dog. That was me. Who did it? I did it. That was it. There was no. That was it. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. Like, nah. I'm like, I got this. Like, I'm fine. And then, my little brother and my best friend, who now is my business partner, at the time was just my best friend, and my little brother. I'll never forget it. I got arrested, and the cops were like saying some stuff, and one of the cops said something really slick, and I said, "Oh, you don't know who I am." And he was like, "What does that mean?" I said, "I won't be here more than a half hour." And he was like, he said, "What?" I was like, "Yo, I won't be here more than a half hour." I was like, "I won't be here more than a half hour." So I sit down in the interrogation room. 15 minutes, no bullshit. 15 minutes pass by. The chief of police comes inside. He goes, "Who are you?" I said, "Me?" Like, "Yeah, who are you?" I was like, "I'm nobody." He said, "My name is Louis Barrios. I am nobody." He was like, "You can't be nobody if the mayor of Paterson is calling because they're on the way to pick you up." I go, And I looked at the cop and said, "Told you."
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So, no, the interview was real. The crime was allegedly.
The crime was alleged. The crime was alleged.
So yeah. So that's how 10 toes down I am. That's how raw and real and I am, because like I said, so at that point, obviously I lost everything, right?
Right.
Obviously.
Correct.
So first it was the marriage, right? So I lost the marriage. Um, Obviously I lost my job. And then I ended up I really didn't end up doing jail time or anything like that. I had a really good lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Talk
so we're gonna
talk
leave it
about
at
it.
that.
No, that's what it
And then and then
is. What
and
it
then that's what
is.
it was.
Yeah.
And then I ended up living um I ended up living at my sister's house at the time. And my sister had a daughter, and yeah, she had a daughter and she had a one bedroom apartment. Like it was she had a two bedroom, a bedroom for her and a bedroom for her daughter. And then I slept on the couch. And while doing this, um I got a job at the Brownstone to do deliveries and stuff like that. Then I worked my way up from doing deliveries to cooking to working at the college and all this other stuff. And again, I was just doing this solely to make money because I had to pay child support and I had to.
Right.
It wasn't really like a passion or anything like that. It was just you got to do what you got to do because your kids got to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like your ex-wife needs money for this. Like you have to provide. And I wasn't always able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So like I had to make sure that I just continued to work and try to figure out how to come from the arrears and try to get all this money back to the point where you know where we are now, where it's like irrelevant at this point. But doing all that, and then um I decided one day I was just gonna open a business. I was like, yo, like I know that being an entrepreneur is for me. And then at that time, not only is it for me, but it was gonna be really difficult to get a corporate job with a criminal background. Like
Right.
let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? And and then that was it. And then literally I started a catering company out of my sister's one bedroom apartment. Like
Yeah.
seriously. So like I did weddings and parties and all this crazy shit out of my sister's one bedroom apartment. And
Right.
then, you know, my life started to get a little bit better, a little bit better. And then I ended up getting in another relationship after, and then in that relationship, things ended up rocky or whatnot. And then, but a lot of that was self-inflicted. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, how there's always two sides to a story. There's only one
Yeah.
with mine because it's always the truth, so it doesn't even matter. Like,
Right.
the truth is that I ended up getting addicted to drugs, to painkillers and stuff like that. So it
Which
ended up taking a
which we're gonna tackle that one in the double or
so
nothing for sure.
it ended up taking a large part of my life away from me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Where I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was coming. I didn't know where I was going. I was lost. I was like a lost little kid, you know? And then that was it. I hit rock bottom. I ended up living in my car. I had a Ford Focus. Yeah, like a 96 Ford Focus, I think it was. I ended up living in my car and I was sleeping at Pathmark in Clifton, and the cops pulled me over. And the car didn't have like insurance. Yeah, shit, bro. It was just my house, you know. So I remember I called my best friend, who again happens to be a member of the police department. So I called him and I was like, "Yo, they about to do this," and he was like, "Yo, I'll be right there." You know what I'm saying? So like, so then you know, you know, I ended up they didn't take my car and all this other stuff. And my best friend at the time was like, "Yo, just come stay at my house." He was a bachelor at the time. He was like, "Yo, just come stay at my house. We're gonna figure it out." And I stayed at his house, and he was like, "Yo, you got to do something, bro." He's like, "You can't stay like this forever. You got kids and da 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 da." And this is a single dude at the time. He owned a house. He was a single dude, and he would like on the weekends when it was my weekends with the kids, he would like convert his house into like a kid friendly fucking house for me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of friends that I have. And and I was like, damn, bro, like how can I ever like I need to be what these people think I am or the potential that they see in me. You know what I'm saying? So then that was it. Honestly, I ended up starting Chef Lucky's Kitchen, which was no, I started the catering, Mi Familia Catering, and yeah, and then that was it. That was the launch, and then I started to work on myself to for all the past trauma and shit that I've been through. So I ended up working on myself. About 2 years ago, I was 327 pounds. So I ended up, right now I'm like 170 something. So I've lost over 100 and something pounds. And doing that, finding myself, finding therapists, people that I wanted to talk to, people that I felt comfortable talking to, and then surrounding myself with the right people. I think that that's something that a lot of people take for granted. You
Mm,
know, it's like just because you've known somebody so long doesn't mean that they have to be there forever.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And I
yeah.
mean that, and I mean that, and it's sad because I mean that with like even family and like relatives and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just
So
I literally posted. I have this reel that I'm working on, and like literally like it's what it says. It's like I'm just choosing peace
right.
over everything.
You know,
Like over everything.
it's funny you're hitting on this because last week's Solita episode definitely highlights, even if it is family, what does that look like to choose peace? And what is even more interesting, and this is, this is why I'm very intentional with the shit that I put out here on my episodes. This is why I wanted to tackle with you and highlight your story, which we just dived right in. And so if you know me, you know that there's just times I'm just gonna let this shit flow, because if it's gonna flow, it's gonna flow. I wanted to highlight with you what it the whole concept of being the black sheep of the family. And for me, it's being la problemática, the problematic one,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Because we do things just a little bit different in our own way. We do things that for some is completely wrong, for others it's like I would never. When
No,
you
I'm.
say
That's my life.
Right, when you say you're not afraid to lose things, I've heard people say that. I don't have fears. I'm not afraid to lose.
But
And
you never believed him.
right, right. I feel like that's where the front comes in, where it's
Right.
like, they act like they're okay with it, but really, is it that, or is it that you just have no choice but to be okay with it? It's not that you're really
So
okay
no,
with it.
yeah, I think that aspect of it is true, but that
Right.
aspect is ego.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
ego.
To the point that you said earlier, right? About taking risks. I think it's one thing to take risks and, say, oh, am I doing it strategically or not? I like to think I'm taking chances on things. I like to think that I'm taking a chance at another opportunity that's coming my way,
Right.
or that I
Right.
absolutely
100%.
just want. That's how I like to look at it.
100%.
Right. For what you just shared with us about your story, and we're, like I said, we're diving right into the next segment. Um for you being, and for the record, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't call him this. He called himself this a long time ago during an IG live. For you being the black sheep, right? The problematic one, the one that everybody's like, how do you think to where you are today, and going back, reflecting back, looking back at all of it, because you just recounted all of it for us, right? How do you think you're able to stand today 10 toes down, right? And you're able to say, I am proud of that story. I am
Because I
proud of,
am because I've learned to accept it.
to the point that
That's
I'm
it.
saying, right? There's people who are not really, you know what I
That's it.
mean? For
They don't
you
accept it.
accept it. Got it.
They
Okay.
just don't accept it. There's a I guess a stigma, right?
Mm-hmm.
On There's a stigma on being a bad person, or there's a
Yes.
stigma on stuff like that. It's like, well, this is who you are. That's who you are.
Right.
Fuck, I am who
Right.
I say I am, and I'm gonna create who I say I am. So
Right.
therefore, there's no illusion to me, right? There's zero illusion. There's no like, oh, he's just fronting for the gram. No, because the gram gets me more raw than anybody does. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't front. I put success on the gram, and I put failure on the gram. And
Wow.
the thing for me is that I don't fail. right? See, this is I've never failed anything I've ever done in my entire life.
Okay.
I haven't. I've
Okay.
just learned different ways of how not to do something.
You know what's so interesting, and I love that you just said that, because tying it back into I've lost, right? You don't see that as
I didn't
failure.
lose anything. No,
Right.
I don't. I see it as a different. Okay, if I even all right. So for me, recipes, right? Recipes for me is easy. I'll just explain it through recipes.
No, let's do the
So for
recipes. That's
me,
exactly what's on that segment. Recipes. Let's go. Let's
so
go.
for me personally, right? So when I first started to master the Cuban sandwich, right? That's one of my most prideful pieces, right? When I've started to master that, I've probably burnt 10,000 fucking Cuban sandwiches. Do you get what I'm saying? I've I've undercooked the pork 20,000 times. I've overcooked it another 20,000 times. It does it literally doesn't, like, those were all just steps and just things. Now you have to see it. It's a science. It's not even I so I don't eat pork no more,
Okay.
right?
This
And
is
and
interesting.
so right. So I don't, I mean, no, I'm lying. I'm sorry. I don't eat pork as much anymore.
Okay. Okay.
So when I make the pork for the Cuban sandwich, right? I make it. I don't taste it. I I know it's I know how it tastes. I don't need to taste it. I haven't changed the recipe since I perfected it. I haven't changed it. I know how it tastes.
Talk your shit. Okay.
So when my employees make it, I
Okay.
taste it. I
Okay.
always taste it.
Okay.
This is how I do it. So I put my hand, I grab a piece of pork, and then I spit it out.
Oh, to tell.
I don't care. I just want the flavor. You can taste the flavor. You don't need to eat it. But to
Okay.
them, you got to see them. You got to see them. They're just like, oh, we fucked up. Like, oh, we fucked up. Like the first time I do it. After a while, they're already used to it. They know I'm
Right.
not gonna eat it.
Right.
But the
Right.
first time, oh, I fucked up.
Oh fuck.
And for me, it's like, yo, no one's ever fucked up because, again, you're just learning a way of how not to do something.
Right.
That's what I try to tell everybody, and that's why, like, one of, and it's, that we just hit on it a little bit, but like that's literally my pitch to my coaching program that I'm launching this year.
Uh-huh.
My opening line to it is that it is a fail proof program. You can't fail if you do the program.
Okay.
It is 1,000,000% guaranteed to succeed in life and in business if you follow my plan.
Okay.
And the reason I say that, is because there's only one thing that can make you fail my program, and that's if you don't want to work.
Okay.
So if you
Okay.
don't put in the work, it doesn't matter whose program you're in. But my steps to get to where it is easy, because everything I'm teaching people the stuff that no one taught me,
Right.
right? So I personally lost, right? And this is lost monetary wise.
Oh,
I've
okay.
lost I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars to be
Right.
able to sit and talk about what I'm talking about now. So it's easy for me to say, "Hey, listen to me. Don't do it that way because you're going to fucking fail or you're going to do
Right.
something wrong. I already
Right.
did it. Do you have $30,000 right now when you fucked that up?"
Right.
Cuz I didn't. I
Right.
didn't have it when I fucked up. Now I got to go borrow money and go ask for loans and go do all this shit.
Right.
So I'm trying to help people avoid the same mistakes that I made, because to them, see, everyone's not built like me, right? So some people will crash and it'll be over for them.
Right.
And
I've been some
that goes
people.
back,
I've been
right?
some
And that
people.
goes back
Yeah.
to what I said. Like, I I I can lose everything and I'd be perfectly fine. I
Right.
would be perfectly fine
Because
because I'm not
you
afraid. I'm not
right.
afraid of work. One, I'm not afraid of work, right? And that, like, I'm not afraid of it. I'm at the stage in my life where I feel like I need to I need to work less,
Mm.
right? Because I feel like I mean, I work hard, bro. Like, I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff and stuff
Mm.
like that. And I want to I'm in the position right now to build other people,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And that's what I'd rather do. I'd rather build other people
Mm-hmm.
than me actually cook every single day. But that doesn't, I'm not saying that I don't want to cook, because for me, in order to me to be creative and for my mind to work with food and all that stuff, I literally have to touch the food.
You have to. Got
Yeah,
it.
if I'm just like, so at Chloe's, I'm what is called an executive chef, right? So the executive chef is actually the head chef, but the executive part is the behind the scenes part, the bills, the payroll, all that other stuff. So right now, I take care of that stuff. I take care of a lot of the behind the scenes. My business partner, he takes care of a lot of the stuff that has to deal with like the front of house and all that stuff. I make sure everything is good in the kitchen. I go grocery shopping. I touch the produce. I touch all the food. I buy the food. I price it. I do all that stuff. So most of the time, I'm not in the kitchen that much because I have to do all that other work. You get what I'm
Got it.
saying?
Got it.
But when it's time for something new to happen, right? Like let's say spring is coming, right? So spring,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, well, summer supposedly is coming, all this stuff. So
Right.
obviously, you want to change and adapt some things to your menu to make it more friendly for the spring and summer.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that behind my desk.
Okay.
So
I see what you're saying.
I cannot be creative. I don't have it in me unless I'm cooking.
Unless you're that, yeah, that makes sense to me. I kind of just envisioned all of that of what it's like for me when it comes to my career and when it comes to my creative space. I
Right.
envisioned all of that just now. Because on both sides, for me, there's things that it has to be me there doing it, and then there's everything else that I'm doing it from behind, the desk.
No, trust
And
me. I've I've recently learned how to delegate. Um I've recently.
recently,
Yeah,
really,
recently. Yeah,
can we
100%.
touch on that a little bit? You said
Mhm.
earlier you are seeking now and to live 10 toes down in peace, right? And where your journey has taken you, right? You tried the corporate, you're in the entrepreneurship, you saw how, I'm not going to call it, I'm a divorcee, okay?
Mhm.
I am not going to call that a failure. I'm more so
Mhm.
going to call that a pivot when it comes to my relationships, when it comes to my commitments, right? That commitment pivoted into no longer a commitment, right? But what would you, not but more so, how would you explain going into the era of 10 toes down from an interrogation room to living in peace, right? And
Mhm.
going into a space of 10 toes down from a marriage that pivoted into you being in your very safe, I like to call it now a safe, selfish space. I like to call
Mhm.
it that. Okay. Because I was feeling a lot of guilt, feeling selfish. Then I was like, this is also protective mode. This is also safety, right? How do
Who
you how do you do that unpacking? Where was the unpacking for you? Because now you're saying, I'm learning now how to delegate. I'm now going into the teaching part too. Would you
right.
say that you've had to do unpacking for that as well as it
No,
fits
yeah,
into
no.
your
So
peace?
I literally so let's use it in like in a funny sense so I can get serious in a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. No, it's all
So
good.
basically I would say I have a book bag,
Hmm.
right? Before I had like 2, 3 suitcases.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? So like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago,
Okay.
5 years ago, I've started to genuinely work on all my issues personally.
Ooh.
So because there was a lot of times, I would say about 80% of the time, relationship wise,
Okay.
um 80% of the time relationship wise, I was the problem.
Oh. Oh.
I I
Oh.
genuinely I genuinely was the problem. And I didn't understand that I was the problem,
Okay.
right? Because you're never the one, you know what I'm saying? It's always someone else. You get what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I didn't know that into my daughter. My daughter told me that I was the problem.
Did she?
Yeah. And yeah. And my daughter made me the father that I am,
Yeah.
right? So I consider myself like an amazing dad. And it's because of her. Like anybody who knows me knows that for a fact. Like I have 2 girls and 2 boys.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest is my daughter.
Mm.
My second oldest is my other daughter. Now my second oldest is the one that I tell you changed my life.
Mm.
So my first daughter, I was an absentee father. I was an absentee father.
It's
And
getting me teary-eyed for a reason, just so you know.
so
There's a reason why. There's a reason. I may or may not share in about 5 minutes, but there's a reason.
it's okay.
Yeah.
So I was an absentee dad because I wasn't in a relationship with her mother. So I wasn't I we joke about this story now, and back then I genuinely didn't care about this story, but as I did healing and took time and realized it was a bad story. But me and my daughter, we joke about it now. But the day that my daughter was born, my oldest daughter, the day that she was born, her mother called me. I was drunk out of my mind, and her mom was like, "Oh, I'm in the hospital. I'm about to give birth." I said, "All right, cool." And I hung up the phone and I went to sleep. And I went to sleep. And when I woke up, I was like, "Oh, let me go to the hospital." And that was it. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's how, because again, this wasn't my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This was just somebody that I was talking to. Shit happened. Whatever. We had a baby. And then I ended up meeting this young lady who worked at the same office. I was probably, and this was mad young too. Let me go back to that. First of all, I was like 17 years old.
Oh my God, you was a baby.
Yeah. Let's not sit here and pretend that I was some like full grown adult. I was fucking 17 years old with not a fucking clue what I was doing in my life. So I don't want to pretend that I was a grown man. I was 17 years
Right.
old. And then the girl that I met who ended up being my wife, she had a daughter when I met
Okay.
her, right?
Okay.
And our relationship went from literally working together to her saying that she never wanted to talk to me because I was a playboy and all this other shit, right? This is
Yeah.
my ex-wife. Into us being at a Christmas party. We were at a Christmas party for our function, and we kissed because on a dare for a Corona. I'm telling you, I was like, "Yo, go get you a Corona and give me a kiss." Some stupid shit like
Wow.
that. I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Okay. Wow.
So then, no, but listen, it gets crazy. I'm gonna tell you how crazy this relationship is, in a good way and a bad way. But so this happened on Christmas, right? A
Mm.
Christmas party. So around Christmas time, 2 weeks later, I want to say, 2 weeks later, she moved in with me.
You
Right?
know,
Nice.
I think things just happen though sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So she moved in with me, and obviously she had a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now as a mother, right? As a mother, you're around your fucking kid all the time.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying?
All the
As a
goddamn
father
time.
at the time, right? So as a father at the time, I wasn't with my baby mother, so it was like, it is what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then having this little girl in my house every day, having this little girl become a part of my family, become a part of my life, I was like, wait a minute, bro. Like, if I can do this for this kid, why can't I do that shit for my kid?
Mm.
Do you get what
Mm.
I'm saying?
What
And
an
that, and we could,
unpacking moment.
boom. That's what I'm saying. So
Wow.
that's what happened. So me being the father that I am today
Mm.
is solely because of how amazing this little girl made me feel being a full-time dad.
Right.
You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So that changed my whole life. And then um, three Christmases ago, that little girl who I raised her entire life, when I met her, she was probably 14, 15 months old.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I raised her whole entire life. She's 22 years old right now.
Right.
Whole life. 3 years ago, she changed her last name. She has my last
So
name.
your last name.
Like that was my gift that she gave me. So like yeah.
The onset of that unpacking, right? The onset of that unpacking in that moment is so pivotal. It's so
Hmm.
pivotal. And I want to say this because of what it means for I'm going to sound a little this is going to be problematic. Okay, here we go. Cuz we give a lot listen, I'm a woman. Okay, I'm all for being a parent, and sometimes you are a parent doing it alone and all this other stuff. Shout out to my son's father, who we co-parent so perfect today, as perfect as they can get, and shout out to his wife. But sometimes we do go through shit, right? And I find it that a lot of the time is valid. It's valid for a lot of us to be upset. It's valid for us to be like, what the fuck? But you have ever so often a bunch who just uses that to be given just that grace, to be given that
Hmm.
excuse, right? And for me, I've learned with time because once upon a time I was a shitty human being who would judge. And I say that shitty because I had no place in certain situations to place any judgment. Okay.
Right.
But today I'm able to look at certain people, and a lot of those certain people are men who are 10 toes down with whom they are, who they were then, who they are today, how those pivots happened. And this is what it is. This is their story, right? And I commend a lot a man who learns from those moments, who has that pivotal moment and learns from those moments where they weren't there front and center, whether it's a
Yeah.
child, whether it's whatever the case may be. I commend those men.
There's a whole chapter in my book about that.
I extra commend a man who can apologize about it.
Yeah.
But also, you don't need to dwell on that apology. We all should be allowed to continue living and continue moving on. But I commend extra to those men because everyone who knows this show knows that ever so often I throw in there a dose or two on a double about my life. My father, he was a different dad for me and for
Yeah.
my younger brother, and even for us too. There was a difference, but compared to my older siblings, there was a lot of he became a dad at a teenager. You know,
Right.
there was a lot of, oh, you know, I still like to hang out, I still like to, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, that was me.
And
100%.
yeah, and I always say sometimes, you know, when me and my mom have those conversations, my mom will tell me, and it's so funny, shout out to her. She'll say, you know, I think you're brave because you left your marriage when you were unhappy, you got a divorce, you didn't stay.
Right.
And I have in turn told my mom, I think you're brave because you gave him a chance and you took a
Because
chance
you.
on him and he
Hmm.
changed and he did. You guys stayed
Hmm.
and you guys have made it work, and he proved to you that he was able to change. He proved to you that he was able to do right by you.
Hmm.
And everything is in fucking alignment, y'all. By the time this episode comes out, it is the week of my parents' 50th wedding anniversary.
I
And
get that.
like for me, it's huge
No, but that's
because
beautiful. But if if I can interject
yes.
really quick because I'm gonna
Yeah.
forget. Um, so your mom saying that you were brave from walking away,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That's new generation.
Yeah. Yeah. It
That's new
is.
generation.
It is.
You being proud of her, she was never going anywhere. That's old school generation.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
We're gonna
It's
figure it out.
true.
Do you get
It's
what I'm
true.
saying? And in defense of your dad, he figured it the fuck out.
I consider he did. He's not
But that's what I'm
perfect.
saying. Now, no, but no one is. No one is.
Right.
I'm not perfect at
Right.
all. Nowhere near
Right.
it. I'm comfortable in knowing that I'm not perfect.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But I know that I am way better than I
Mm.
was at 17 years old. I know that I'm way better than I was when I was living out of a car and I couldn't pay child support and
Mhm.
she took me off so I wouldn't get arrested. I know that I'm better than all that. Do you get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
I'm not perfect, but I'm better. Starting this business in doing even to this day as an owner, as a very successful owner of businesses,
Right.
I still which I control my schedule. I control whether I work,
Right.
whether I don't want to work, I control all that. to this day, I still miss certain events because those are choices I have to make.
Right.
Do you get what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like, do I cancel on a potential $20,000 night to go see a 12-year-old play basketball?
Right. Right. Those are
Those are
choices you have to
choices,
make. Absolutely.
right? And I'm okay with the outcome of both of those choices.
Right.
If I say no to the event, I'm okay because I'm going to get it back in another event. And if I say no to my son, he plays 26 basketball games a year. He'll be fine.
You're gonna be able to.
Do you get what I'm saying?
You know,
Like
it's no, but
I'm
it's so true, and it's crazy. It's crazy because I was just having this conversation with with my sister. Shout out to my sister. I said, if we cannot sit here and and really analyze all our memories, and if we cannot sit here and acknowledge a good memory or five of them with our parents because we're so focused on the negative, or is it really that there was never good stuff? Because I remember good stuff. I do. I refuse to be just focused on the negative. I could see it. I know it's
It's
there.
easy.
I know it
It's
happened,
easy.
but
It's easy. Everyone focuses on the negative. It's the
right.
easiest thing. It's the
Like,
same thing. It's the same thing when you want to do something, you're going to find 10 reasons why you shouldn't do it before you find one why you should.
right. Right.
And that's what it is. If my kids, if my daughter could be right here and could speak, she can tell you the darkest moments of my life. And if you asked her, do you remember that or do you remember the good times more? Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's easy. It's so easy. I still to this day get judged on who I was. And that's why for me it's the most peaceful thing in the world where I could just be like, "Oh, cool. I'm sorry. I don't know who you're talking about.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
That person died. I apologize. And I always say it in a joking manner because I'm sarcastic as fuck. So I always say it like a really I always say it like in a real sarcastic way. Like they'll be like, "Oh shit, yo, you remember when you did this and blah blah blah." Like I don't speak ill of the dead.
Ooh. Amen to that. R.I.P.
That's it. I don't speak ill of the dead because that's like the reason that I am I don't know if did I say it on the live or something. I think I said it on the live. I am the most popular loner
Right. Right.
in like the world, right? Like everyone knows me. Everyone hangs out with me. Everyone comes to the restaurant, comes to the cafe, comes to the food truck events, all that stuff. If I'm outside, everybody's outside. But I'm never outside. Do you get what I'm saying? I like being by myself. This is the most comfortable I've ever been in my life. I remember times where I used to need to be around people to feel alive. Now these niggas drain me. Like I'm drained. I'd rather be alone and excited and happy about life than surrounded with people who are just draining me of my peace or happiness. And it's sad because you see, what was it that I posted? I said, oh, I think I said everybody makes fun of me because I'm always alone, but you're surrounded by people who talk about you. It doesn't make
I
sense to
think
me.
I think you did say that on a live, and I think I remember
It
when you
doesn't,
said that.
yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense because so many people are so comfortable, not comfortable, but they need to feel comfortable around people
Yeah.
because they're so unsure of who they are,
Right.
I think. And I'm not unsure
That is
anymore.
that is very
I'm
interesting,
comfortable.
and I like your perspective on that. You know, and touching with your journey on even your the way this has all impacted your relationships. And let me just say this. I just love how everything just fell into place with what I wanted to cover in the As Raw as It Gets segment. It did. I want to go into the double or nothing because I have some questions there for my thought process of how I want to
Yeah.
you know, uh hit it off on that conversation on that segment with the conversation I want to have. I want to add a little more spice to this because you did hit us off with some recipes here. I want to know in the double or nothing, knowing everything that you know and all of the experiences that you've had and all these journeys, how have you been able to apply that in continuing? In my opinion, based on what I know of you and what I've gotten to know of you, you do have a very successful life. I'm not talking about your
Mhm.
businesses. I'm talking about your successful life. Okay. Now I want to tackle your businesses, and I want to tackle what has that look like for you when it comes to the old fashioned pandemic debate, the whole um entrepreneur versus the 9 to 5. I want to know, what does that look like for you, because you just highlighted a few things. You highlighted, the delegating, you highlighted the coaching, you highlighted, building others, right? And a lot of that, although there's entrepreneurship, I do find it that a lot of the time it overlaps, and there's certain skills and techniques and programs that are very corporate like that you could put in place when it
Mhm.
comes to the entrepreneurship. How do you cope with, and how do you deal with the unpacking of that pandemic debate of which one is better, which one is over than the other? Because I feel that that impacts a lot and reflects a lot off of the type of leader you can be.
Right. Right. Well, that's so okay. So just with that line that you just said, so I pride myself in that.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I'm not a boss. I'm not a boss, because a boss will tell you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you what
Yes.
to do. I'm gonna show you. I'm a leader. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
show you how I do it.
Yes.
I'm gonna show you the way. So I like to hire people that don't have experience.
Talk about that. Talk talk
Yeah.
talk about that, because
So so Bill Gates.
I'm a
So Bill
believer
Gates.
of you're an expert in your experiences. So talk about that,
Right.
how you're giving someone that chance from
Yeah.
scratch. Talk about that.
So Bill Gates said something. Bill Gates said he hires what was it that he said? Lazy people.
I think I've heard
So
that.
Bill
Yes.
Gates from Microsoft says that he hires lazy people because lazy people are going to find the easiest way to do the job.
I've heard that.
Think about it though, right? So now if you find, now let's say you hire someone and they find the laziest way to do the job, right? But
Yeah.
the job gets done.
Yeah.
The job gets done. Do you understand that if you, and this is, I mean, listen, I'm a business owner, so I'm going to say it and I'm going to be honest about it. That's genius. You know why? Because if I hire an executive chef,
Uh-huh.
I'm paying a crazy amount of salary, right? I'm
Mhm.
going to have to pay a crazy amount of salary, right?
Yeah.
But if I hire someone that doesn't know shit,
Yes.
do you see? Do you see where I'm going with this? But no. But the truth is that I like to hire people that don't know, and it's not because, I mean, obviously it's because of the money in the business aspect of it. In the
Yeah.
business aspect of it, it's obviously because of the money. I can
Right.
pay someone less money,
Right.
right? But with me, I'm gonna pay you less, but I'm gonna give
Teach
you
you more.
the tools to, when you want to, and if you ever want to leave from
Yes.
my presence, you are established enough to get paid what you deserve to get paid by any other company, or you can start your own company because you've learned everything that I've taught you. So that's
Right.
what I give to my employees.
Right.
That's what I give. So besides the paychecks, besides that, I give you lessons on how to do things the right way. How to do, and it might not be the right way. How to do things my way.
Mm.
Because in my kitchen, it's my way. So
Right.
we do it my way, and that's everybody. It's very harmonious. We can all function all at the same time because everybody has their roles. No one oversteps. Everyone knows their position. I'm not worried about that. That's why I hire people that don't know stuff, because I can teach them. I can mold them.
Right.
And again, and the reason I do that too is because I am a success story from that aspect. I started washing dishes, doing deliveries, doing all that stuff to get to where I am. So I'm sorry. And I always say this. I apologize to anybody who thinks that they deserve more than me, or thinks that they're better than me, or if you went to school to be a chef, you can't step foot in my kitchen because you don't know life. Okay?
Oh,
You don't know,
okay.
those books don't teach you when you can't pay rent. Those books don't teach you that. Those books
Right.
don't teach you all that stuff. I never went to school for culinary. I didn't go to school for it. I don't have a chef degree. I don't have any of that stuff. But
Right.
I've taught at colleges. I've been a guest speaker for chef schools, all that stuff. And every time I start the sentence off with, I don't have a degree in culinary,
Right.
because I want them to know that I got there because I worked to get there. I
Because
didn't pay
you are
school,
an expert of your
that's it.
experiences. This is why I
And
say
that is,
this all the time.
and that's it. And it's the same thing with resumes. That's why I never ask for anybody's resume.
Mhm.
I never ask for their resume. I always tell you, if someone, when I apply, when I tell people that I'm looking for a chef, I get tons of people that apply. I say, okay, cool, come tomorrow to work. They're like, what? I'm like, come to work. If we can't work together, I'm
Right.
going to pay you and I'm going to send you home and I'm going to wish you luck.
Right.
That's it. No harm, no foul. I don't give a fuck about your resume.
Right.
Because if we pulled resumes, I'm not supposed to be a chef. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we pulled resumes, I'm not supposed to be this. So that's that aspect of it. Now going back, what was the second part of that question?
It was about the
The
leadership.
unpacking,
Well,
the
the
leadership. So
unpacking we
the
already
leadership.
talked about, but it was definitely on the leadership for me. And you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna
Oh, it was
dive
the
right
pandemic. You
the
wanted to know the
pandemic
pandemic
debate,
part.
and
Yeah.
that's what
Okay.
I want to
Yeah.
dive
Yeah.
into. That I want a page out of your recipe book on that pandemic debate.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
So really quick. So I feel like the pandemic gave people money that they were willing to risk to follow their dream.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So that's what I feel, right? So the pandemic, the Biden administration with the end of the Trump with all the stimulus and all the PPPs and
Yeah.
all that other
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
all that money gave people who let's say for one their rent was reduced or they had help for their rent with the pandemic, all that stuff. So all that money just sat there, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is gonna hurt a lot of people, right? So this is so this is the mentality of the poor,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So the mentality of the poor is you have all this money, how can I get rid of it?
Mm. Mm.
So everyone during the pandemic, not everyone, a lot of people that
A
I
lot.
know and a lot
A
of
lot of
people that you
people.
might know
Yes.
decided to open businesses during the pandemic and all this stuff because they technically weren't risking their money. Technically, if we're being honest, I mean, it was their money, but it wasn't their money. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like they didn't work for it, so they were willing to risk it. And a lot of people, and listen, I'm not knocking it because a lot of people succeeded.
Right.
So I'm not
Right.
knocking it. You get what I'm saying? I'm definitely not knocking it. A lot of people succeeded. A lot of people failed. A lot of people lost more money than they invested. A lot of people
Yes.
did a lot of other stuff. And
Yes.
then to in the comparison of a 9 to 5 and entrepreneur life, right? The comparison to that is there's huge. Obviously, the comparison because some people are just willing to are comfortable. Some
Hmm.
people don't have the creativity or the other aspect of it to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Like
Correct.
this isn't for everybody. Like
Correct.
this life isn't for everybody because now it's nice and now it's sweet and now I'm having a good time and all that other shit. But it wasn't always like that. This is
Mhm.
I say it took 8 years for me to become an overnight success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like right now I'm on top of the world. Everybody wants me. I get booked here, I get booked there. Everybody wants me. 7 years ago, I couldn't cook for free. I would be like, yo, you buy the food, I'll cook it. They're like, nigga, I don't know you. You ain't a chef.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Now I'm not even showing up if the money don't. I'll send a team. I'm not going. Like
And
if it ain't got like
and
5 zeros, if it ain't got 5 zeros,
and
I ain't showing up.
let me add another spice to this because we're discussing this debate. And 7 years from now, what does that look like for you?
7 years from now, I'll be on a beach renting jet skis and scooters,
Okay. Okay.
not
With
working.
with the recipe book already made.
With the recipe book already made, the restaurant's still running. My son running the food truck, my daughter taking care of the cafeteria, maybe expansion,
Okay.
another restaurant. Yeah, no, man.
This, this
Listen,
is this is
I'm,
part this
I'm,
is part of
I'm.
the unpacking. This is part of the
So
journey.
I'm literally just getting started.
Yeah. Oh.
Like honestly,
Oh.
I'm going to finish my 10-year plan with a bang.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna, I'm going to make sure that everyone that means something to me is taken care of.
Amen to that.
And it's not financially, and I
No.
don't mean it like I'm gonna pay for their things or anything like that.
Right.
I literally mean it like I'm going to make sure that everyone is happy with themselves. That's it.
And that
That's it.
and that is exactly what this double or nothing was about. This is exactly what it was about for me. It's beyond a pandemic debate. It's because people came up with plans, people came up with ideas, people became very creative, right? And here we are 3 years later, and I could be very transparent here. I don't incriminate anybody, so I don't say names, but I know people who did all of that and they're not happy. They're not
Right.
happy because
So
it
so
was it
this
was
is
more than
so
what they thought it would be. Way more. Like you said, this is not for everybody. This
no
isn't.
people like people like um people like the end goal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves the end of it, right?
Yeah.
Like the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what
Yes.
everybody loves, right? Like, see, I don't. There is no light at the end of the tunnel for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just a journey. I love the
Yes.
journey.
Yes.
I love the walking into my greatness, right? I
Mm.
don't know where I'm gonna be great at next, but I promise you that the next place I'm gonna be fucking great. That's it. And
In
if the
in
people
other
that are
words,
around me,
you're it's part of your plan to continue being great.
yeah, that's it.
Gotcha.
It's just walking in my greatness, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. It's not about the plan is to follow the plan.
I feel
You get what I'm
you.
saying?
I feel you.
Like that's what it is. Like honestly, I'm not really big into like religion or anything like
Mhm.
that, right? Like I'm really not. There's reasons for it that I'm not.
Right.
But but I'm blessed. Somehow, some way, I don't know why, but I was
Somehow,
chosen.
some way. Okay.
And I don't know why, but I
Okay.
was chosen. I
Okay.
really was. I feel like everything that happened to me, right? Like childhood,
Yes.
growing up, all that stuff that happened to me, like I shouldn't be here.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm.
So like I don't think that I should be here. So for me to come to terms with not feeling worthy or um yeah, like not feeling worthy of everything I have, like I feel like I don't deserve this. Like this gift could have went to someone else, right?
Okay.
Someone more deserving, right? Someone more deserving. Maybe someone with a better past and all this other stuff. I don't know, right? But it didn't.
Mhm.
But it didn't. It came to me.
You
So
you know, double or nothing segment, the first question under that says, "How do we get so lucky?" That's the question on that segment. How do we get
yeah,
so
it
lucky?
just I don't know.
You know,
I'm
I wanna believe.
somebody out there, and it's my grandmother. I'm telling you, my
Yeah.
grandmother.
Yeah.
No, 100%. My
Yeah.
grandma, so my grandma is one of the ones that first taught me, not even taught me, but like I fell in love with her cooking. I
Okay.
fell in love with her in the kitchen. I fell in love with her, how my uncles and people, cousins would run to her house and she said she was going to cook.
Oh,
I fell
okay.
in love with that. You know what I'm saying? And then watching my mom cook and all that other stuff, I fell in love and I just learned watching. I'm really good with that stuff. Like if I watch it, I
Mhm.
can I can make it. Like I don't need the recipe. If I watch you make it, I can make it.
Okay.
Um, it works like that with for me it works like that with anything in life. Like I
Okay.
can go right now to your house right now
Uh-huh.
on my GPS.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow, a month from now, I can go to your house without a GPS.
Okay. 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 Okay.
I'm very good with remembering what I see.
Gotcha.
So, so for me, the reason I say my grandmother is because in my first restaurant, I had an empty table. I'll never
Okay.
forget this. I was ready to open my first restaurant, and my mom was like, "Oh, I want to see it."
Okay.
And she's like, well, how are you going to put the tables and all this stuff? You know how moms are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'm like, so this is how I'm setting up the tables. I said, and there's going to be a table over there with only one chair,
Uh-huh.
and no one's allowed to sit there. That's what I said to my mom, right? She's like, that's stupid. Blah, blah, blah. No, it's not your restaurant. So, yeah. I'll never, I literally, no, bro, this is you ready? This is how it went down. She said, oh, I think that's stupid. And I said, that shit says Chef Lucky's kitchen. What? You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I said, right? But like I knew that that was gonna piss her off and make her upset and stuff like that, right? But I knew that the reason that there was only one chair was because there was a picture of my grandmother that was going on that chair with a letter that I wrote to her.
Okay.
Right? My grandmother died about 21 years ago.
Okay.
So I wrote her a letter when I opened that restaurant. And I put that letter on the table. I put a picture of my grandmother. I put a rose, and I put another photo album, like a frame, and
Uh-huh.
it said, "Although the seat seems empty, it's reserved for someone who's in heaven," or something like that.
Okay.
And that was it, right? So the night before I opened, I called my mom, and I was like, "Yo, before you come in here tomorrow, talking slick about that one chair, one table. Come down. I want to show you something."
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
She came down. She saw it, balling. You know what I'm saying? Now I know what I'm doing. Oh, that was very nice. You know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but that's what it is. So I owe a lot to the women in my life. I've been
Yes.
surrounded, right? I've been surrounded by amazing, amazing women in my life. I am a very big advocate for women and stuff like that. Although I do disagree with a lot of other stigmas when it comes to women and all that stuff.
Right.
But and we were I was on vacation recently. I was in DR and we were having a conversation because I was really drunk one night, and somebody said something. Somebody said something. There was this girl
Mm-hmm.
at the bar, and I think she definitely cursed me out. She said she said something about um about being equal to men.
Okay.
Something like that is what she said, right? And I again, I was a little intoxicated.
Okay.
It didn't matter though. The statement is still true, and I'm gonna say it because the statement is still true.
10 toes
I told
down.
her.
Go ahead. Say it.
I said, if you are concerned with being equal to a man,
Uh-huh.
I can never talk to a girl like you because
Okay.
you need more ambition.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm sorry.
That's interesting.
I'm sorry. It's true. You need more ambition than that. Because being equal to who? To me? I don't want to me.
That is actually an interesting way to look at it. That's interesting.
It's true. Think about it. Why do you want to be equal to a man? Because if you want to be equal to a man, then you can't have kids, right? Because you're a woman. Men
Mhm.
can't have kids.
So this
So
is,
you lack ambition.
I love learning from people. For you, you see it as there has to be something more beyond that.
100%.
Got it. That is so interesting.
100%. There has to be
For
more.
the record, I've never
Because
been the woman to be ambitious to be like a man. Let's just begin with that. But this is
but no,
interesting.
no,
It's
but
interesting.
there's a lot of women.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women that feel that way. That they feel that they want to achieve the same level of, I guess, certain things that men have. Right? Like you want to, like equality. Right? Like
See, but
I believe. I believe in
that's slightly
certain. I believe in
different though.
certain things.
But I think
But
that's
I believe
slightly
in certain
different.
things.
But for me, I mean, for example, coming from corporate, when I've thought of equal rights or equal pay or things like that, right?
That's different.
It is totally different. And I
That's
think a
totally
lot of
different.
people confuse the two because the way you just posed that question is interesting. I've never looked at it from that side. But what I do know is whenever I thought of my ambition to where I want to go in life, to where I want to be career
Right.
wise or what have you, right? I've never said I want to be like him. I've never said that. I've never thought that. I've just wanted to be ambitious enough to push towards having a seat at the table. I'm still going to be
Right.
me. I'm still going to serve what Daisy is and who Daisy is and what my expertise says from my experiences.
But that's because you are who you are. You get what
Right,
I'm
but
saying?
there are people
When you don't know,
who want the other I want to be like him. I want to, and that's the part where it's like, shit, I didn't think of it that way. That is the threshold of your ambition. That's as far as it goes.
that's it right there.
Got
That's
it.
what well that's what it means. But if you
Yeah,
think about it the way I do, that's you're just looking at them like, what?
got it.
Like that's what you want to be? Like you
Yeah,
just want to be like you don't want more? Like you don't want more?
right.
Like
Right.
you lack ambition. You lack ambition.
I was planning to ask you a question with the I only wrote the last question. I didn't write these last little three questions for you because I like to leave some things for surprises. But you just gave them to me, right? So the last question on the segment was me asking you come September, towards the end of the year, what will your recipe book look like? And then it was gonna follow up with I call it the recipe book, but then it was gonna follow up with give me a recipe on living that peaceful life. Give me a
All right.
recipe
So
on
I'll go back
pivot.
to the first one really quick. Right.
Yes.
So the my book that's coming out is called I Woke Up This Morning.
Yes.
Um, it is literally the title in itself is something that I've learned when I've unpacked and therapy and counseling and AA meetings and all that shit. Right. So I tackled all those things and then I woke up one morning. And when I woke up that morning, I chose to change my life. So by choosing to change my life, I have obviously gotten to a way better place in my life, way better situation for myself, my family, my kids, everyone. Everyone who's around me is in a better position than when they first met me. And I like to do that to a lot of people. I like to leave you with more than you came with. You know what I'm saying? And so my book is literally a life story through food. So in my book, it'll tell you the struggles. It'll tell you how I learned how to make certain foods, where I learned it from, what was happening in my life at the time, the traumas, the successes, the tribulations, the joy, the heartbreaks. It talks about love, romance, sex, it talks about everything.
Everything. Hmm.
There's nothing hidden in there. I'm probably gonna get sued probably 3 times, and I'm cool with that. Um,
We're
but
not we're not incriminating anybody.
no, no, no. There's no. I changed names, but they're gonna know who they are.
Yeah.
But but it is what it is, and it's
Yeah.
okay. And I've prepared myself for that mentally. And I'm a strong believer that life is life, man.
Right.
If you don't like it, then if you listen, everybody wants the truth until you tell them the truth.
Right. Right.
You know, so it's like whatever. You get mad, you get mad. You know, people get mad reading the newspaper in the morning, so they'll be fine. If you don't like my book, don't buy it. Like, honest to God, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest, man. Listen, if you don't like my book, don't buy it. If you don't like my attitude, don't buy it. If you think I'm an asshole, don't buy it. It don't matter to me because I wrote this book for me. I wrote this book for my family. I wrote this book for everyone who told me that I couldn't do it,
Mm.
or who told me that I wouldn't succeed, or who
Hmm.
told me that I would fail and I would fail and all that stuff. I
Yeah.
wrote this book for you. So
Yeah.
whether you read it or you don't, you're in it. You might as well read it. Um,
I'm with you on that. I mean, listen, we're gonna include all the handles on the show notes for
yeah.
sure. And we're still got the overdose. For the record, I just want to make sense out of something. Okay, I sent the agenda over to Chef and I said, the first segment is the raw mess of the week and is anything relevant, blah blah blah. I didn't intend to start with this because in truth, I knew how our conversations flow. So I said to myself, this shit is gonna get messy eventually. So I'm not gonna even like bring up nothing, right?
It's gonna get messy by
I know
itself,
I knew
man.
it was, right? But as
It's
soon as I
going.
just saw the vibe, I was I'm just gonna hit record. This shit is gonna flow right in, right? And I wanna say I think I've only had one other recording in the 127, 28 episodes that flowed like that. So you're like the
That's awesome.
second only episode that has
That's so awesome.
flowed right in. And I don't take those for granted because I feel like although I learn from every guest, okay, to a
Right.
certain magnitude, I appreciate when two people can have just such a very organic and natural conversation that
Yeah.
just goes. So with that, I want to first give you gratitude and acknowledgement and
Ooh,
recognition for giving
wait
us
one
several
second.
recipes. Yes, talk to me.
I just want to. So that's what the book is about.
Yes.
Now, the one recipe for life,
Yes, I
right,
didn't
and how I
forget
have
that one.
made. Okay, so
Yeah.
the one recipe for life and how I've made peace with it,
Mhm.
right, is and and there is so I've I'll say it like this. So I have forgiven people who haven't asked for forgiveness.
All right, read me for
I
filth, why
have,
don't you?
huh?
Read me for filth, why don't you?
So I have forgiven people who haven't apologized. I have forgiven people who have talked behind my back.
Mm,
I have forgiven people who continue to talk about my back. I have helped more people than I've hurt, and I've made that a mission since I've gotten better in life and I've made myself more accessible to helping others and stuff like that because I first needed to help myself. Now that I am helped and now that I feel amazing, and I wouldn't say that I'm cured or anything like that because life is an everyday process. I wake up depressed every single morning. I suffer from it. I just learned how to get past it. I learned the things that I need to do to make me happy so that I can proceed in my day. So, all those things being accounted for, like I said, forgiving people is very difficult when they don't apologize, right? But they're not hurting. It's only you that's hurting. So I have forgiven them. And then what makes it even easier for me is I've forgiven myself. So like I said, in 80% in my past life and relationships, and even some friendships and family relationships, I was the problem. And I have never apologized to certain people because we just stopped talking or we don't communicate. And I never got the chance to apologize. I'm not apologizing now either.
right. I
Just want to
heard
say that
you.
real quick
Yeah,
because I'm not
in
apologizing.
case y'all needed that
In case,
disclaimer, right?
yeah,
There
yeah,
it goes.
I'm
Yeah.
not apologizing. I'm simply saying that I have forgiven myself.
Mhm.
And if you haven't forgiven me, that is a you problem, not a me problem.
Right. Right.
And that is how I have become who I am in my peace. If someone says about me to someone, it comes back to me. At that moment, I've made a choice. And at that moment, I made a choice whether you're my cousin, whether you're my brother, whether you're my sister, whether you're my stepfather, whether you're my father, whether you're a fucking friend, someone I grew up with, whether you're my ex-wife, my ex-girlfriends, all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I choose me.
Right.
I choose me today. I'm going to choose me tomorrow. And I'm going to choose me every single day that I get to wake up.
Ladies and
That's how I choose
gentlemen, if
peace.
y'all heard my Solita episode from last week, you would know why I just said he's reading me for filth. Because ever so often, I lean into the space of not fuck this and whatnot, right? But it's true. It's very true. As somebody who has done the work, I am only hurting myself. As someone who has done the work to know what it is to either forgive or forget or both. You know, that realizes that it's okay to put up boundaries. It's okay to be protective of
Wait,
one's.
can you do both?
Um, I have, I have, I have, I have, I have done both. I have.
I can't. I can't.
I have. But let me
I
just
can
say,
forgive.
let me just say what it has taken for me to do the forgive and forget.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and I know he listens. My good old friend Roberto. If anybody who has been here, they know that story of how we reconnected. It was honestly he. It was years we had not spoken. He was someone I consider my brother, my best friend. I went years needing him, and I didn't have him. And one day I just get a DM. on the podcast page talking about, I love your show. You don't remember me. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. Who is this? Like, where are you from? And he tells me who he is. And it took no more than 2 seconds for me to just say, oh my God, like, where have you been? I've needed you.
Right.
And what was crazy is at the moment, I even forgot what the issue was. I forgot what the problem was to begin with. What I appreciated so much in that moment was that he, as a man, approached me and said, I fucked up. I did
Mhm.
wrong. I said, oh, it was a misunderstanding. He said, no, I misjudged you. I was
Right.
wrong. It was me. It was my fuck up. This is all on me. I should have never hurt you like this. I should have never done this. I should have never assumed. And because I truly felt that it was sincere, because I truly felt that this is my brother again talking to me,
So you
I
forgave and forgot.
forgave and forgot. I did.
That's good.
It's like it never
That's
happened.
that's amazing. Honestly, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that when you were so excited
Yeah.
that he DM'd you,
Yeah.
the fact that the first thing you thought of was like, where have you been?
Yeah.
Instead of what the fuck you hitting me up for?
No.
That's, you get what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
But that right there was the gateway for you to be like, yo,
Yeah.
we're good.
And
Like,
that's what it is for
and
me.
even the fact that he said like, yo, this is on me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I own this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, see, that to me is beautiful because I stand like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I know I was wrong. I know. Listen, there's stories, boy. I was wrong.
Right.
100% I always say it. There's nothing that anybody could say about me in my past that I haven't said myself.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're not gonna make me feel bad, my nigga. Like, I know I was a scumbag. Like, I'm cool.
Right.
I'm perfectly fine. I was that keyword. I
Right.
was that person. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? But that person don't exist. I'm not him.
Right.
This is it.
And for me, chef, this is why it's so important to me to put this out there and understand. In some cases, even if they do apologize, I will still forgive. I don't necessarily forget it. With most
No, but
people,
that's what I said.
I
I
just
can forgive anybody.
I
I
just
just can't
keep
forget it.
it. I keep it there, and I
Yeah.
know it's what happened. With some people, I will forgive, and I've learned how to forgive from a distance and never speak to them ever again. I've forgiven them, and that's
Yeah.
that. But at the end of the day, what I've learned about myself, about me, is that I do know how to accept an apology. I know how
Right.
to embrace that. That means so much to me, which is why when I know I've been wrong, I will apologize. I absolutely will. I just refuse to be the person who is constantly always and only the person apologizing or allowing things to
Right.
grant leeway or to grant opportunity for the next time to happen
Mhm.
again. Get what I'm saying? And so that's
No, I know
where.
exactly. If we're being honest, I know exactly what you're talking about too,
Right. So for
because we
me,
had this
yeah, we
conversation
did. We
before.
had the
Mhm.
conversation. So for me, that's where I consider, you know, I appreciate you
But that's
sharing the
it's
recipe.
just disrespectful. It's
Right.
just disrespectful.
Right.
And if you allow that, then you're hurting yourself
So, and I
because
am
they genuinely don't give a fuck because they continue to do the same actions that
over and
they've
over
done in the
again.
past.
Yes. Yes.
It's literally the definition of insanity.
Yes.
You think about it. Like,
Yes.
they keep doing the same thing, and you're hoping it changes the outcome.
Yeah.
It's not gonna
Absolutely.
happen. It's not
Absolutely.
gonna
I
happen.
I appreciate you sharing that recipe of life, because I think one of the beautiful things in this episode, but also in what your book is going to entail, and I definitely encourage everyone. I'm gonna put it in the show notes, all the links, so you could go
Thank you.
follow. Um, we could learn so much about other people's stories, whether we've lived in those same shoes, in those same streets, in those same journeys or not. We could learn so much about people's journeys, people's stories, people's
Mhm.
decisions. I always say time and time again, and we'll never get tired of saying it. We are experts of our experiences. I'm not an expert of none of my degrees. My degrees are my credentials. My degrees are,
Right.
are things that I logged on to for school. I learned.
Mhm.
I've been able, from everything that I got in a degree and all the debt that I got, there are things I've been able to apply, but I'm an expert
Right.
of my experiences. I'm an
Which is
expert of
perfect.
my practice, of what I've dedicated myself to learn, to teach, and so on and so forth, and practice. Not from what I sat down in school and gathered all these
Yeah.
degrees. You know what I mean? And I want to say that because while I am proud of that, because it took work, there is so much value in experience. There's so much
No,
value
I agree.
in
And
that.
I want to clear that up too. I'm not telling anybody not to go to school or not to
Right.
pursue a corporate job, because that was the one thing I wanted to get to really quick and I forgot about the
Yeah.
pandemic era thing. So I treat every one of my businesses as a job.
Okay.
I genuinely do. I genuinely do. I go in, I clock in, I clock out, and go home.
Right.
If I say the kitchen closes at 9, if we're not busy at 9 o'clock, I'm the first one out. I'm the first one there and the first one gone. I open the doors most of the time. If I not lately, Jose, my worker, my chef, he's the one that's been doing everything. I've been busy with private events, traveling, all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I show up for like the big events. I cook and then I go home.
Right.
I'm not. I don't. I don't live there, bro.
Yeah.
I've evolved from that. Do you get what I'm saying? So corporate life, 9 to 5 life, there's nothing wrong with it, right?
Right.
I treat my entrepreneur life, I treat my business life as a regular 9 to 5 job.
That's
I go to
amazing.
work, I go to work, I go in, I work just like everyone else, and then I go home.
Yeah.
I don't sit there. I'm not sitting down at the table all night while everybody's working and everybody's busy, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I own this place.
Right.
No,
Right.
I'm there to work. And if I'm not there to work, I don't need to be there.
Right.
Everybody knows that. I don't need to be somewhere that I'm not working.
Yeah.
There's certain nights at Chloe's right now where we're slow.
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
Yeah.
For what?
Right.
For what? If I go there and then I have an employee that goes there, so now I have to pay him
Right.
and my time
Right.
for what?
Right.
That's his job. I own the place.
Right.
That's your job. You go to work.
Right.
When we're busy, I'll show up. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? I treat it like a job. I genuinely do. I treat it like a job. And the thing is that, so when I say I treat it like a job, though, I want to clear it because I do treat it like a job because I don't run all my businesses.
Right.
So like I was saying earlier, I have been blessed with amazing, and I always say this, with amazing females in my life. Always.
Yeah.
When it comes to my ex-wife, when it comes to my mom, when it comes to my friends, my family, when it comes to every single female in my life,
Talk about that.
okay? I don't have it. I don't have it. My sister, our relationship is not as tight as it used to be because I chose peace. So my sister is a single mom. Yeah. My sister is a single mom who has a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
She has she has 2 kids and now a grandkid. And she has a small business
Okay.
on top of her 9 to 5. So
Okay.
my sister is a fucking hustler. All right. She's
Amen.
about it. My sister's dope. My mom, I mean, is my mom. If I'm this amazing, imagine how amazing
Imagine that.
she is.
Amen. Amen.
but then you surround yourself with other people.
Yeah.
Right? So then I have my daughters, which are amazing. My daughter's a pastry chef. She actually went to school and all that other stuff. She's the one that runs my cafeteria, all that other stuff. My cafeteria is ran by my daughter. Lauren is the COO of L Unit. She's the COO of Chef Luckie, the brand, all that stuff. She does everything.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I promise you, I've given that power away when I chose peace. I only want to do what makes me happy. What makes me happy is cooking. What makes me happy is showing up to events.
Yeah.
Lauren makes sure that all that stuff is taken care of.
Yeah.
She does all the paperwork. She does all the contracts. She does all the finder's fees. She does all the licensing. She does everything.
Yeah.
I don't do anything. So that aspect of the cafeteria, I don't take care of. My daughter cooks there. My daughter runs it. Lauren takes care of everything else. The food truck, Lauren takes care of everything else. Lauren does all the paperwork. She does all that stuff. All I do is show up and cook.
Right.
We have meetings. I'll sit down. We'll talk about pricing. I do the pricing, all that other stuff, because I got to determine how much I'm going to get paid.
Yeah. I hear you.
So all this stuff is done for me by women.
Yeah.
Josie, my best friend.
Yes.
Josie came to my restaurant, decorated it. Her staff, all those
Beautiful job.
beautiful people, amazing
Mhm.
people, did everything at my restaurant. She has launched my career when I first started my catering company. She's been a supporter for moons,
Yes.
and the whole forgive and forget thing comes really deep because now this is going to be a shock. Um, so me and Josie literally stopped talking for about 3 years of our lives.
Really?
Yeah. And 1,000,000% it was her fault. No, I'm kidding.
For those of you who don't remember, Josie was on this episode a couple of episodes ago.
Totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. It was 1,000,000% my fault. And it was something that happened when I was in a dark period place in my life. And I was granted the opportunity to have her back in my life. And it's amazing. And I actually like, I set up the reunion to see her again. Literally, I set it up. Like I own a kitchen where other chefs would be cooking at.
Okay.
So one of my homegirls was a chef, and she was cooking Josie's meal plans at the time. So now I haven't talked to Josie in like 3 years. So when she said, "Oh yeah, I'm doing Josie," she's coming here to pick it up. I said, "She's coming where?" She said she's coming to. She was on the phone. She's like, "She's coming here to pick up her food." I said, she's not coming to Chef Lucky's kitchen to pick up her food. Like that's what I said.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yo, this girl, she's not coming in. I haven't seen this girl in forever. She's definitely not coming in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I drove all the way from my house to the kitchen, like 40 minutes. I was like, "Oh yeah, you gonna come? Then we're gonna see." And then she came, got her food, and I was like, "Yo, can I talk to you for a minute?" Like, the fuck? You just can't. Bitch, you ain't see it says Chef Lucky right there?
She saw. She saw. She's going for the food.
So yeah. So then I went outside and I talked to her and I don't even think I said much. If I'm being honest. I just said that I was sorry and that I never got a chance to really apologize and I wanted to apologize that I was in a dark place and I've learned that what I did was wrong and I was really a fucked up individual and all this other stuff and I apologize and I say, hey, listen, I'm not asking you for let's pick back up where we left off. I'm just saying, if you're open to having a friend again, please let me know. And then that was it. And then literally it started off slow, like once in a while. And then now she's like right here all the time.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
because that's how it was like when I first launched my business and all that stuff, like she was the one that was always like, yo, you need to start working. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. And she still does that. It's annoying as fuck.
No, she's
but
fantastic.
she's right though.
All the annoyance is fantastic.
No. I listen, because you already spoken to her many times, but I'm telling you, as far as my business, it comes into that. It's a lot to do with Josie. It's a lot to do with Lauren. It's a lot to do with them just making sure that I'm taken care of.
Yeah.
And not only business wise, like my this is probably gonna bother, but my female best friend, right? Because I have two, but my other female best friend,
listen,
so
people are territorial.
No, that's why you gotta give numbers, man. It's so crazy. I'm not even sure which number. I'm not gonna say a number. Forget it. I have my female friend. Like I said, I have a lot of dope females around me. You know what I'm saying? And then Cecilia is my friend, my fucking dope ass soul, and she's always making sure that besides the business aspects of my life, that I am okay. And Josie does the same thing, and Lauren, they're very very aware of my issues with mental health and with my issues with, well, I don't have any issues anymore with substance, but I used to.
Right.
So they're very big into making sure that I'm okay mentally and physically more than I am financially, because like I said, it's anyone who knows me knows. And what did my boy say yesterday? That's rich nigga problems. Money to me is a piece of paper. It comes and it goes, and I don't really look at it as a defining factor of success.
Yeah.
My success is freedom. I chase freedom. I don't chase money. I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care. As long as I have enough to pay the bills and I'm not living in the streets anymore, I don't really care.
Amen.
I spend it just as fast as it comes, because if I die tomorrow, I can't take it with me.
Yeah.
So
Amen to
might as
that.
well
I feel you
have it.
100%. We are going to go into y'all, if y'all didn't write down those recipes, just I don't know what to tell y'all because there's been several recipes that he just handed out to us here. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna go into the overdose, and that is the last segment. That one I definitely want to
All
keep.
right.
I've said this before in on the show. I've always thought about, fuck, should I change the name overdose, because
No.
I'm in healthcare, because very
Okay.
transparently, and I've shared it here. I once upon a time in a dark place also depended a lot on pills, and it was
Me
not
too. That's
my,
what I was
yeah,
addicted to.
it's not my proudest moment. But on the
Mhm.
overdose, here we share something or anything we are either overjoyed with or completely over it, and it could be about absolutely anything. I definitely plan to share mine, but is there
Over
anything
it.
completely, and it could be
Oh,
anything, anything, anything.
I am over the. Wait, hold
Oh, he's doing yeah.
on. So no. So okay. So one thing I'm overjoyed with. Right.
Okay.
I'm overjoyed with the. I'm over. Yeah. So I am overjoyed with the fact that life for me has gotten so much easier and so much better
Okay.
by choosing myself over everything.
Nice.
I am overjoyed because for so long I made sure that everyone else was taken care of, and I wanted to make sure you were happy,
Right.
and I wanted to make sure that I did everything to make a partner or a business or anything like that. I wanted to make everyone else happy, and I've learned that doing that was just not making me happy.
Hmm.
So now I have limits and not expectations. I hate that word. So I don't expect anything from anybody, because then you can't be disappointed.
Mm.
And I know it's sad to live like that, and a lot of people say that, and my therapist said the same thing. But
Yeah.
but the truth is the truth, right? And no, but the truth is the truth. I'm not gonna
Right.
change. I'm not gonna change that aspect of my life.
Right.
Um, I've been disappointed multiple times in life.
Yeah.
Very deep, hardcore disappointments and stuff like that. So I've learned that if you don't expect anything, you can't get disappointed. And the fact that if you don't expect something and someone does something, it makes it that much more joyous, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
So I've learned that accepting that is one of the best things I've ever done. So that's what I'm most joyous about.
Okay.
And what I'm over,
This is when it
what
gets
I'm
spicy.
over, if I'm being honest, is that I feel, yeah, how do I explain this?
The best you can.
Yeah, I'm over this the stigma of being selfish.
Oh, that's spicy.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna
and
second
and
you on
and
that one.
and the access and allowing access to people. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't I don't like to give too much access to people that don't deserve it. If you deserve it, if you're a part of my life and you're someone that I hold near and dear to me, you can know my whole life and it wouldn't make a difference to me.
Okay.
Um, because I don't speak about certain things. I don't speak about um, a lot of things on Instagram or Facebook or
Right.
podcast. I really don't. And the reason I don't is because I used to, and I used to praise everything that I used to do, and I used to praise everyone that was in my life, and I used to praise the friends, the girls, the guys, the people, the businesses. I used to praise everybody,
Right.
and I wanted everyone to win, and I still want everyone to win, and I don't want to take away from that. I do want everybody to win. I'm just not going to help you win anymore.
Okay.
That's how I feel on that aspect, and I feel like people say that I've changed, and people say that I've become too big of a big headed or a celebrity or whatever it is that they say, and it's not that I've changed. It's just that I'm not accepting bottom level shit anymore.
That's that safe selfish. That's that safe
Yeah.
selfish. And
Yeah,
that's
I'm not accepting, I'm not accepting the bare minimum. I'm sorry. It's a privilege to be in my life. It is.
yeah.
I'm a vibe. I am
Yeah.
fucking I'm energy. Like if you're bringing my energy down or you're making me uh forget, or if you make me forget what my purpose is because I'm too busy worried about your purpose,
Yeah.
I choose me. I choose me. I choose me every single
Every single
day,
day. Yeah.
and that's the way it is. So I'm over having to explain why I choose me.
Absolutely. I applaud you on that. I want to be very clear on something. I don't like there's a difference between someone who chooses to be selfish to protect themselves and to sustain their peace, maintain their peace and their
Right.
sanity. Because I was someone who would criticize the and stigmatize selfishness. I was until
Right.
someone educated me on it and said, you know, there is a way to be safely selfish. And I said, "Well, how?" And they started explaining to me, and this was about maybe like over a year ago, a year and a half ago. And I remember when they explained to me, and I was like, I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't think it's good to be selfish and this and that, right? Like I used to just think to myself, right? But
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
always
yeah.
been that part of me that could be judgmental, right? And until I was faced with a situation where it's like, well, hold up a second. This person is selfish, but I can tell their intentions and their reasons are not to be protective of themselves. I see ill intentions. I see malicious intentions and malicious behavior. And I don't like that type of selfish. And,
That's
and
different.
and in
Yeah.
turn, I realized I said, no, 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 wait a minute, it's time for me to be selfish and protect myself from that. It's time for me to put my foot down and to put those boundaries up. And I started to realize that. And I wasn't diving right into it. I wasn't jumping right into it. I was being observant. I was being cautious. I have no shame in admitting that I was being cautious on it because I wanted to make sure that I was understanding what my body and my mental was telling me I needed to do because I was so judgmental on the idea of selfishness until I
Right.
realized that it's okay to be
Mhm.
selfish, and that is the safe selfish. That is the one
Right.
that you do go into the protective mode and you're allowed to, because if you don't protect yourself, who the fuck is going to do it?
That's it right there. That's it right there. That's the answer to anyone who questions it.
Yeah,
I'm s- I what happens if no one loves you, right?
right.
But you love everyone.
Right. Mm.
Do you
Listen.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It, but that's what I mean though. That's what I mean. That's why selfish in that aspect of it is the right way to be, in my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah,
Because if you allow everyone access, then everyone can find a way to hurt you. And if you
absolutely.
allow only certain people in your life and you're selfish with your privacy and you're selfish with that stuff, then the people that are in it, even they, in return, know how important they are
Right.
because not everyone gets that access.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I'm so grateful. I'm gonna jump into what I'm overjoyed with.
Let's
Because
go.
it makes perfect sense for this. And I'm one it's one thing to give recognition, is another to be grateful for certain things. And I don't even want to go back to how it was that I connected with you or with Josie and all that, because that's a story for another day and another episode, if that. But but I do want to be I'm a bitch,
Just
I know.
say it. Say
No,
Chef
no,
Lucky's my king.
no. That might be the title of this episode. There's Okay, hold
Chef
on.
Lucky is my king.
It all started during an IG live and a troll in Chef Lucky's page who was like, "Let me hit Chef Lucky's my king," and
Lucky's my king.
I was like, "Oh my god!" So that's the and we need to get those T-shirts done, right? But
We need to get new t-shirts.
we need to get the T-shirts done. But I do want to show a sense of gratitude to you because I have created a platform where I could tell my story, and I have told my story. But from the moment that I was able to share with you, and you being one of the few people who is not a therapist, about what my experience was, and being able to admit it and to accept it and continue to accept it because it's part of my journey. I wrote
Right.
an ebook where I did share about my darkest point, but I never said what my lowest darkest point was. I never really gave all those details, right? You created a space from day one in conversation where it was okay to talk about that low point. It was okay to
Right.
talk about that dark space without even knowing what it was, without ever meeting me face to face.
Right.
Right. And I want to show a sense and dose of gratitude to you because
Thank you.
in life I feel like we need that, and you never know who is around you that needs that. And
Right.
ever since then, I've committed to really pick up on people's nonverbal cues, to really pick up on
Hmm.
people's tone of voice, to really pick up on others' moments. And
Right.
I've been able to do that. And I actually was able to do that this week. And to the extent that the person said, "You are God sent and you were an angel who came at the right time to talk to me in this moment." And I just had a feeling. I just knew from what I
Yeah,
was
because you
seeing.
never, you like that could have been his last moment if you
Yes.
didn't talk to him.
Yes. Yes.
That's
And
why. That's why I say it. It's so easy to be kind. It's so
yes.
easy,
Yes.
especially for us. Especially for us because we're broken. Because we've
Yeah.
been broken.
Yeah.
Because we've been in the dark places. So
Yes.
why can't we just be loving?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yo, if people, I always say, if people could hate for no reason, then I can love for no
For no
reason.
reason.
I don't need a
Right.
reason. I don't
Right.
need a reason.
Right. And it
You know?
doesn't need to get to that point, honestly. And so my overjoyment is having been able to create a certain extent of bonds here and getting to know people who have just brought with them and their story a sense of peace in itself, and to continue to encourage people to share their stories and to talk about what it is that they've
Yeah.
lived and what it is that they are experts of, because you might be teaching someone a thing
Hmm.
or two, and you just
Yeah.
never know what level of comfort you are bringing through that teaching. You just never know.
No,
And
I
that's what
agree.
I'm
I agree
overjoyed with
100%.
in this moment. The one thing I am over it is something that my son and I had a conversation on, and he kind of just, put it out there, and I kind of talked about this before. And I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a mom. Okay. I'm 37. My child is 16. He's a young man. I don't know what I'm going to feel if my son is 24 and he's dating a 42, 43-year-old woman. But can society just please lay off on these really older women dating younger basketball players and shit, and stop criticizing so much and stop judging so much? I am at a space where I get it. I understand, I just think that society is just being so crucial and detrimental in certain areas. And I want to believe that maybe, just maybe, a 24-year-old might be able to fall in love with a 40-year-old. I don't know.
I don't I don't see why I wouldn't.
I, I feel like we're tracing it back to, oh my God, that's so rapey. Oh my God, that's so this. And I get it. In some instances, it might be. But maybe, just maybe in some instances, people are just falling in love and they really are just getting to know each
Right.
other. And technically, a 24-year-old young man is an adult.
21, a 24-year-old man is definitely an adult.
Right, right. And so it came up in conversation where my son, who's 16, he was like, "Mom, really, I want to see your point of view in this. Like, you're an older woman, you're a mother. Like, how would you feel?" And for a split second, we talk about
What's your
having
age limit?
for my son,
No, for you.
for me,
The
well,
the
I'm
the, the
37.
youngest. What's the
The
youngest
youngest, I mean, I'm 37. I would
that
probably
you
not
would
go
accept right now?
younger than 30, but that's from preference for me. Like, I don't know if I could take anything younger. It would have to be someone extremely mature. And
Right.
let me just say this for the record. I'm 37 now. When I was 33, I dealt with a 28-year-old. And he was fairly mature. He was fairly
Okay.
mature. He got
I think it's different for guys
You think
because
so?
girls are mature at a younger age. Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
I think so.
So would you say then, so to your point, see, to your point, would you say that a 24-year-old young man does know what he's doing? Is he mature enough to be in a relationship with a 40 something year old woman?
Depends on the dude himself, though.
Okay.
I would have to know him to judge him. Not even
Okay.
to judge him, but to give an opinion.
To give an opinion.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? To give an opinion. I know for myself, I'm 41 years old,
Okay.
and um, well, you said 24?
Yeah, I'm giving him 24.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Okay. For a young woman. No? Okay.
No, there's rules, bro. You gotta be a couple years older than my oldest daughter.
Okay, well no, okay, so see? No. I'm with you on
Like,
that.
we
I
got we
am.
talk about like yeah 30s. Like if anything like that, you're talking about older. I mean, honestly, to me, it's irrelevant. But for women that are older dating younger men,
Okay.
um, I don't see a problem with it. Honestly, I mean, I
Okay.
think, I mean, if we're being honest, I mean, there was growing up like that's what you wanted. Like I didn't want a girl my age. I wanted someone older.
Older. Okay, so that's where I'm kind of going with this.
Right.
Again, every story is different. We see shit in the media and the news and social medias and the celebrity shit. I'm not talking about every single story. I'm simply talking about this whole judgment around, oh, that could be your son or that's someone's
Yeah.
son, and it's like I I
That's
I'm just
that's
in the
because people are miserable.
like love is love, no?
Society
Like can people fall in love?
society in itself, yes, 100%. Society in itself is miserable. So anything that they can talk about, right?
Mhm.
They're gonna talk about it.
Right.
That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Oh my God, she's too old for him. He's too young. Or what's wrong? Because look, one side of this is looking at this like, yo, this guy's too young. This lady's crazy. Like this is like
Mhm.
rapey or whatever it is
Mhm.
that this one side is saying, right?
Yeah.
Now the other side is like, oh, this nigga trying to come up. This girl probably got money. That's why he's with her.
Mm.
Oh, he trying to come up. There's
Damn.
two sides. There's two sides. You get what I'm saying?
Damn.
There's two sides to it. There's two sides.
And on that note, guys, Chef, do you want to tell the audience where they can? Yeah, I wasn't even trying to go that way, but he's right. He's right. I wasn't even trying to go, but he's right. Would you like to tell my listeners where they can follow you, go support your businesses, be in
Listen,
tune with Chef Lucky?
I I'm easily tracked. Um, no, but listen, really quick before I even say all that.
Yeah.
If anybody, any male or female on here heard or understood or felt anything that I said, and if you're looking for a place to feel comfortable
Mm.
in yourself, my DMs is a public page. You can please reach out to me. If you do not want to say who you are, create another account. I don't give a fuck. But please, please, I said it earlier and I'm going to say it again. I'd rather read and talk to you about your story than read about your life in a newspaper.
Oh, amen. He
So I
means
can
that,
be
by the way,
found,
guys. He means it.
I do. I can be found on Instagram. It's Chef Lucky, or you can just literally, it's cheflucky.com. Everything is on there. My restaurants, at Chloe's restaurant in Paterson. If you're looking for a really nice time, tapas menu, really fun vibes, it's a BYOB. Please come by. The food truck is at Suerte Food Truck. The calendar, yeah, the calendar for May is already done, so I should upload that within the next few days.
Okay.
For May, and that's it, man. My book comes out, might be pushed a little bit,
That's
but
okay.
2023, fall of
That's
2023.
okay.
There was a little writer's block that I was going through for a while, so I
That's
fixed
okay.
it. Uh, and that's it, man. And the way I want to end this is with a statement that I said about 40 days ago.
Oh.
40 days ago, I said, a man can't control his urges, can't control his life.
You did say that to me, but he did
And
say that.
yeah, and that is accurate, and that is really true. And for guys who feel like you need to be this macho man or all this other stuff to get all these girls and all that stuff, I promise you, it's not that. It's it's you. You just got to be comfortable with yourself. They're all going to be there eventually, and the girls that are there are not going to be there. They're not for you. Don't
Mm,
force anything. If you force anything, 9 out of 10 times, it's shit.
mm. He
So
said what he said, y'all. He said what he said.
that's it.
For the record, I'm not gonna tell you why he said that to me, but it starts with an L and it goes as Lent, and that is where I'm gonna end it. Um, that's where I'm ending
But
there.
no, but that is life. Honestly, that is life. Listen, I want to thank you first, really quick.
Mhm.
I again, like you said, our communication and our friendship from day one started off amazing, and
Yeah.
it was a safe space for us to
Yes.
talk, and it was a safe space for when we didn't want to talk, but someone knew that they needed to.
Yes.
So I just want to say thank you for always being there. Thank you for
Thank
answering
you.
my DMs. Thank you for entertaining my stupidity at night. Thank you for, yeah, because I get on here and I'm high and drunk and I just start talking. So I apologize for those. I don't apologize. They're fucking fun
No.
times. But no, listen, guys. Um, honestly, thank you, Daisy. Thank you so much. You have no idea. I've when I first heard about you, when I first learned about you, I've read and I've listened to the story. I've listened to it. I've seen your podcast with Josie. I've seen your
Mm,
podcast with Leanne. I've seen your work outside of it. I see what you do for your kid, and I think you're amazing.
thank you.
And if anyone doesn't see what I see, they're either blind or stupid. I'm gonna go with stupid. Um,
Thank you.
and that's yeah. No, you're amazing, and I just don't want you to forget how amazing you
Yes.
are. I don't want you to forget that everything everything that happens in life is happening for a reason.
Mhm.
um Although you might not see it, it's perfectly fine because you can't see tomorrow yet anyway, so who cares?
Amazing. Oh, I appreciate that. And once again, on the right time, he says what he needs to say at the right moment, and I appreciate that. Um, Once again, guys, this has been another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. I'm your host, Misty, and you guys will tune in next week. Bye.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we are live on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Make sure to tell a friend to subscribe, rate, and review. Talk to you later. Bye.